We're all trying to get our message across in this fight for climate action, but are we doing it in the most effective way? What are the principles of a good communication strategy, and is there a best way to get your message across? In this episode of Climate Questions, I spoke with a professional in the field of strategic communications to find out how to design a climate advocacy strategy. Let's dive in. When it comes to climate change communication, what are the do's and don'ts? How can we be more impactful in getting our message across? And how can we better advocate for climate action? When designing any advocacy campaign or communication strategy, there are 5 key principles that should guide your work. First is being clear about your goals. Ask yourself, what do you want to achieve with your advocacy efforts? Is it to raise awareness of a certain issue, to convince decision makers to take action, or to mobilize people to take part in a movement? Defining your goals will help you determine the best approach for achieving them. Second is knowing your audience. Who are you trying to reach with your message? What are their interests and concerns? Tailoring your message to resonate with your audience will increase the likelihood that they will listen to what you have to say. This also includes knowing what channels your audience consumes, whether that be social media, podcasts, or other platforms. If you want to reach young people, for example, it may be more effective to use social media platforms like TikTok or Instagram, where younger audiences spend a lot of their time. Third is to keep it simple. Use plain language and avoid jargon when communicating about complex topics like climate change. Break down complicated information into smaller chunks and use storytelling to connect with your audience on an emotional level. If you want to learn more about how to effectively communicate about climate change, check out a previous episode where I interview a science communicator. Fourth is being consistent. Delivering a consistent message over time helps to reinforce your credibility and build trust with your audience. This means sticking to your key messages and avoiding the urge to chase after every new and trending topic in the climate space. While staying true to your message, though, it's important to also be responsive to your audience. If you're engaging online, pay attention to the questions and feedback they have. This can help you refine your message and make it more relevant to their needs. The 5th principle is evaluating your impact. It is essential to track the results of your advocacy efforts so that you can make informed decisions about how to move forward. This could involve tracking website traffic, social media engagement, or even conducting surveys to gauge public opinion. By measuring your impact, you can see what's working and what isn't, and make adjustments as needed. Following these 5 principles will help you develop an effective communication strategy that reaches your audience and drives the results that you were looking for. But it's not enough to simply follow these principles. You also need to have a plan for executing your strategy. A communications plan outlines the goals, target audiences, messages, and tactics that will be used to reach those audiences. Developing a communications plan involves several steps. First, identify your target audiences and conduct research to learn more about their interests and concerns. Develop key messages that are tailored to each audience and will resonate with their values and priorities. Determine the best channels to reach each audience, such as social media, email, or traditional media outlets. Create a timeline for your campaign and assign responsibilities to team members. Finally, evaluate the results of your campaign and make adjustments as needed. A well-designed communication plan is essential for the success of any advocacy campaign. It provides a roadmap for achieving your goals and helps you stay organized and focused. There's no single best way to advocate for climate action. Different organizations and individuals will have different approaches based on their unique circumstances and goals. However, there are some common best practices that can help you get the most out of your advocacy efforts. First is to focus on the why. People are more likely to care about an issue if they understand why it matters. So start by explaining the consequences of climate change and why it's important to take action. You can also share stories of people who are already experiencing the effects of climate change and highlight the human impact of this issue. Second is to offer solutions. People are less likely to feel overwhelmed and more likely to feel empowered when they know that there are solutions to the problems you present. Share examples of clean energy technologies that are already making an impact and highlight the benefits of taking action on climate change, such as creating jobs and improving public health. Third is to build relationships. Building relationships with decision makers and influencers can help you gain support for your advocacy efforts. Attend local government meetings, network with other advocates, and reach out to journalists to share your story. Fourth is to use data to back up your claims. People are more likely to believe your message if you can back it up with credible evidence. Use data and research to support your claims and make your message more persuasive. And fifth, don't ignore the negative. It's important to address the challenges and obstacles to climate action head-on. People are more likely to trust you if you be honest and transparent about the difficulties involved in solving climate change. Share the progress that's been made on climate action and highlight the benefits of taking further action. Finally, while designing your advocacy strategy, consider the broader political context. Understand the decision-making process and the key players involved in the issues you're advocating for. Build relationships with policymakers and their staff, and be prepared to compromise. Know that you may not always get everything you want, but that some progress is better than no progress. One thing you can do to enhance your advocacy efforts is to collaborate with others. By joining forces with other organizations and individuals, you can amplify your message and have a greater impact. There are many benefits to collaborating with others on advocacy efforts. First, it allows you to pool resources and expertise. Different organizations and individuals bring different strengths and perspectives to the table. By working together, you can leverage each other's expertise and maximize your impact. Another benefit of collaboration is that it can help you reach new audiences. Each organization and individual has their own network of supporters and followers. By working together, you can tap into a wider audience and spread your message to more people. This can be especially effective when reaching audiences that are difficult to access. For example, let's look at Evergreen Action. They've collaborated with a variety of organizations to advance their shared goals. For instance, they partnered with the American Action Forum, which is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization focused on improving public policy through rigorous analysis and innovative solutions. Together, they published a report highlighting the economic benefits of the Inflation Reduction Act. By collaborating, they were able to reach a new audience of policymakers and business leaders who may not have been familiar with Evergreen Action's work. The partnership helped to elevate their shared message about the importance of investing in clean energy and highlighted the bipartisan support for climate action. Collaboration can also help you build consensus and create more durable solutions. When multiple organizations and individuals come together to work on a common goal, it creates buy-in from all sides. This can result in more robust and sustainable solutions that are more likely to withstand scrutiny and opposition. Finally, collaboration can help you sustain your advocacy efforts over the long term. Advocating for change can be a long and challenging process, but when you have a network of partners to lean on, it makes it easier to stay motivated and keep pushing for progress. Advocacy and communication are essential components of driving climate action. By following the principles of good communication, incorporating a strategic plan, utilizing best practices, and collaborating with others, you can have a greater impact and move us closer to a sustainable future. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. You can also support us directly through donations. Your support helps us continue producing high-quality content that advances the field of climate action. Thanks for watching.